Greetings, everyone, and welcome to no, it's not season 8 signings. We haven't got that far yet. It's actually where they are now. It's a kind of special as we look back on the 7, nearly 8 seasons of the Orkney save, and we're going to look at what's happened in this future world, I suppose you call it. What's happened in this world in 2027, because it is 2027 at the moment. So what's happened to some famous football stars out there who are currently doing well as the time of this recording? Let's go and have a look. So I'm going to flip back to my screen there. So here's the screen. Season 7 in the Orkney save has just ended. I haven't done any signings yet. That'll be in the next video. But I'm just going to go and see what's happened in the rest of the world. We're going to look at things like certain famous players, mostly English because I'm English. We're also going to look at the World Cup, what's happened in the World Cups. I think we've had 3 World Cups. The European Championship, the Champions League. Things like that. So it should be a whole lot of fun just to see what these players have done and what the computer has decided that if this player still exists and see how well they've done. So what we're going to do, so the first one we're going to look at is the Sultan, the famous Sultan Ibrahimovic. I can never say that surname correctly. And he is still in the game, but he has been unemployed. He's unemployed, unemployed manager. So let's look at his history after 2020, I suppose it is. See what the computer decided for him to do. Not much really. It looks like he went in January 2020, he rejoined Milan, making 92 league appearances, scoring 46 goals in 2 years. So it looks like he stayed in Milan until 2022. Here we go. Yes, he did. And he's had a really good career. So let's see what his milestones were. He retired from playing in 2022. So he went to Milan, then he just left. And since then, he's been an unemployed manager. So has he actually managed any clubs? No, he hasn't. So this is a bit unhappy, actually. He's done 5 years, and he hasn't actually managed a club yet. So, I'm surprised he hasn't got a job. Maybe he's just not that type of player who will be a good manager. Who knows? Lionel Messi then. Oh, he's still in the game. Lionel Messi, he's actually retired. Retired as a player when he reached 37 years old. He stayed at Barcelona, made 647 appearances, 501 goals. Amazing career stats. Amazing player, of course. We can't see his history because it's not been saved, sadly. But he stayed at Barcelona until he retired. It looks like he retired in 2025. So, of course, when we always mention Messi, we always then mention Ronaldo. So let's look at Cristiano Ronaldo, and he's now the under-19s manager at Real Madrid. So he must have gone back to Real Madrid after being at Juventus. If we look down here, he stayed at Juventus until 2022. He then became the under-20s manager at Juventus between 2022 and 2025. And he's now Real Madrid's under-19s manager. So he's turning out a nice little career as a manager. And as an under-19s manager. So he might become a full manager. You can see the stats here are really good for him. Also, if you notice, he had 176 caps, 107 goals for Portugal. So let's look at see his career history. His history is still here, and so his final playing career was in 2021-2022. 34 appearances, 16 goals, average rating 7.44. Amazing season before that, 7.75 average rating, and then he retired and became a manager. So he's doing really well. He's doing better than Messi, I guess. Let's now go to Mohamed Salah. Sorry. Physio? Really? Oh no, this is a different Saha. Okay, that's Sahan. Let's go this Saha. Let's see if we can get this in. Is he still in the game? I wonder. Doesn't look like he's still in the game. Oh, hold on. There he is. He's still at Liverpool. Wow. 34 years old now. Still at Liverpool. Let's look at his history. Has he been playing regularly? Not as many regular games. 20, but he's still knocking the goals in. But the goal ratio, of course, has gone way down. You can see that it's really suffered after 22-23 about Liverpool. But he's still around. He is now, oops, I didn't want to go to that screen. We have to go and find him again now. He is now valued at 15.5 million. Wow, 15.5 million already, still, and he's 34 years old. Um, Yeah, he's still there then. So I'm quite surprised he's still at Liverpool. 327 appearances for Liverpool now, 145 goals. Very good ratio still. So Mane, his striker partner at Liverpool. Mane is still at Liverpool as well. He's now 35 years old. 340 appearances, 134 goals. So very similar to stats to Saha. He's still there. He's looks like Celtic want him, by the way. Let's see how his stats have done. Is it better than Saha? About the same, I guess. His average ratings are still well over 7. Still a very good player. Um, so, yes, he's still at Liverpool then. So, let's go to Harry Kane, the English captain. Is he still playing? He's still at Tottenham, which is a surprise. And one thing I've noticed, he's now a midfielder. He plays at midfield centre, not striker anymore. He's 33 years old. 119 caps for England, 62 goals, so he would have broken Wayne Rooney's England goal scoring record there. He's still at Tottenham then. Let's look at his stats. Yeah, he's still playing regular games. He's not scoring as many, but of course I think that's now because in the last 2 seasons he has become a midfielder, not a striker. He had a really good season 25-26 with 14 assists, so he's doing remarkably well. That's my again. Let's go to Marcus Rashford. Oops, I then spell it wrong. How's Marcus doing? He's still at Man United. Marcus Rashford, 106 caps, 56 goals. Wow, and he's still 29, so he's still got a couple of years in England, perhaps. He's still at Man United then. The only club he's been to. 389 appearances, 147 goals. Hopefully you can see that. Oh no, I will move my little things around a bit so you can actually see what I'm looking at. So hold on there. Didn't notice you were not looking at that properly. You can see it because my overlay is blocking that area of the screen which you need to see. So let's move that up for a time. There you go. 395 appearances and 147 goals for Rashford. So he's still at Man United then. So let's look at Greenwood. Greenwood was set to be the next big thing from England, who was playing at Man United. He still is at Man United. He's had 52 caps, 28 goals, 25 years old, so he's doing really well. 266 appearances, 89 goals for Man United. A regular, a first teamer, very good stats. He's doing really well. So yeah, definitely will do very well there. Next player we're going to look at will be, let's skip some players. Let's go down to Neymar. Neymar, where is Neymar at the moment? Neymar has moved to Flamengo. Back to Brazil. He's now 35 years old. 130 caps, 79 goals for Brazil. So let's look at his history. Where did he go off? So he stayed at Paris Saint-Germain until 2024. He then moved to Flamengo for free. And then he's been a regular at Flamengo, maybe not in the last season, so he could be going towards the end of his career. But this could be also because the Brazilian season might be different to a normal season. Well, not normal season, a European season, I mean. So he's doing really well. He's still playing at Flamengo. So the next one we're going to go is, now I've got to get this actual spelling, because it's quite a long one. Robert Leonardski, and there he is, the Polish striker. 135 caps for Poland, 70 goals. He's now a director of football, but he is unemployed. So what did he do then? So if we look down the stats here, let's making sure you can actually see those stats. Yes, you can. That's good. He stayed at Bayern Munich until 2026, only last season. He's now director of football. So yes, he carried on at Bayern Munich until 2026 when he had sort of like a bit part. His goals dried up, of course, because he was losing pace and stuff like that. But um, well, it's good to see he's still in the game though. So the next player we'll do is Zidane. Zidane, and by the time this recording was a manager at Real Madrid, and look at that, he is still manager of Real Madrid. So not much has changed there. He's been a manager at Real Madrid now for 8 years, 2019 to now, which is 2027, close to 8 years. He's still at Real Madrid. So has he actually won many trophies? Let's look at milestones. Yes, Copa winners, champions, Copa, UEFA European League winners, champions. We'll look at various countries and see what countries teams have won the leagues. 'Cause that's always good to watch. So he's still at Real Madrid. Then look at Eden Hazard, the former Chelsea. Then he became a Real Madrid player. Oh dear, doesn't look good, does it? He's retired at 35 years old. So he retired after staying at Real Madrid. He didn't go to another club. 135 appearances, 36 goals. You would say that his Chelsea stats are better than his Real Madrid stats. So he won a couple of awards, 137 appearances, 41 goals for Belgium. Um, but yeah, he didn't move on after Real Madrid. He just decided to retire at 35. You would think he would probably have another season or two left after that, but no, he decided to retire. Now the big player currently, other than Haaland, I suppose, is Mbappe. Is he's still at Paris Saint-Germain? That's a surprise. I thought he would move on from Paris Saint-Germain. He's now 28 years old, over 100 caps for France. He's been at PSG for, well, since 2017. Still a regular, still banging those goals. Nothing really has changed. How old is he? He's 28. Oh, okay, so he's still in his prime. So nothing's changed there. So we'll now go to De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne, who's at Paris Saint-Germain. He's moved from Man City then. So where did he move then? He left on a free. Wow. 2 seasons ago. He left on a free to join Paris Saint-Germain after being at Man City for nearly 10 years. So I suppose he was due to move. How old is he then? He must be 35 years old. Wow. He's still worth 6 million though, and his stats, as you can see there, are still pretty decent. So you would say he's a kind of like a bit player now at Paris Saint-Germain, but those stats are still impressive. Now Aguero, which I cannot spell. There we go. So Gary Aguero, he's retired at 37 years old. So he was another player who went over to Paris Saint-Germain. Look at that. But only had 38 appearances, 17 goals during his 5 years. He wasn't a regular at Paris Saint-Germain. So it looks like he kind of had enough and then just left at 30 when he was 37 years old. Look at a goal scoring role at Man City though. 293 appearances, 195 goals. Sadly, we haven't got the actual how much the transfer fees and stuff were there, but I'm guessing it was probably a free transfer. So he's retired. So let's look at Ramos. Sergio Ramos, who was then who was playing at Real Madrid, wasn't he? Well, he retired at 36. He retired in 2022. He had over 500 games for Real Madrid and 187 caps, 22 goals. Wow, for Spain, that's impressive. So 510 appearances, 73 goals. So yes, he stayed at Real Madrid and is now retired. A lot of these players would be retired, I suppose. We'll now go to managers for a second and look at Pep Guardiola, who by the time of this recording was manager of Man City. Well, he's not in this game. He is the manager of Lazio in Italy. But if you look down there, look at this, look at his track history. He left Man City quite early, 2021. Wow. So literally next season in real life. He became manager of Spain for just 1 year. He then left Spain to become manager of Tottenham for 3 seasons, and now he's manager of Lazio. Has he been pretty successful then? Let's have a look. There's his career stats. Oh, he was sacked. Oh, that's a bit unfortunate. Look at that. He won the UEFA Super Cup and UEFA League wins, but then he was sacked the next year. He was sacked as manager of Spain, so that's probably why, and sacked as manager of Man City. Oh dear, he hasn't had much of a good time in this game save, in this future scenario, has he? Well, by the time of this recording, Wayne Rooney has just retired, so let's look at what he's doing. He's now manager of Derby County in real life. He's manager here of the England under-19s. So what actually happened? Well, of course, in this game he doesn't become manager of Derby County, but he was a player coach at Derby County until 2022 he left Derby, and then 4 years in the wilderness, and then he's now England under-19s manager. So let's look at his overall milestones. Anything interesting? Yeah, he was released on the free transfer in 2022. He never went to another club, so he decided to become a coach, as he's kind of doing right now. And yeah, he's still in the game though. So we're going to look at Neuer, probably the best goalie in the world. And he's a goalkeeping coach, and he's unemployed as well. Wow, that'd be a good person to have on your staff. 117 caps for Germany. How did he get on? He stayed at Bayern Munich until 2024, so he's been unemployed since 2024 for 3 years. So definitely, if anyone wants a good goalie coach, he's probably one of the best ones you can ever get. So he's unemployed. Gareth Bale's going to be the next one. One of Wales' best players for a long time. Oops, this doesn't look good. He retired at only 32 years old. Wow, that's a shock. And retired in 2022. He went on Tottenham on loan, as he is doing in real life, but and then he went to Castilla. Isn't that Real Madrid's seaside? 24 appearances, 4 goals, and I think he had enough, and he decided to retire at 32 years old. He was only 2 caps away from 100 caps for Wales. That was a bit unfortunate. So yeah, it looks like he quit really early. Raheem Sterling is the next one. He's now 32 years old, still worth 42 million. Wow. He's at Man City. The stats are still very good. 129 caps, 37 goals for England. Still at Man City, so let's look at his stats. He's been at Man City now for 12 years, and he's still regularly playing. Really good stats for them. 32 years old. Looks like it's not going to drop at all. So the next one we'll look at is Jose Mourinho. Of course, let's see how he's getting on. He's the manager of Portugal. Why am I not surprised? I think that's probably going to happen in the future in real life as well. So what happened to him? Well, he stayed at Tottenham. Let's look at the milestones. That gives us a good clue. Whoops. So he was sacked as the Tottenham manager in 2022. He was then hired as the French manager and got sacked 4 years later, and now is the manager of Portugal. So Jose Mourinho became manager of France for 4 years. Wow. Let's look at Gianluca Buffon. Probably again one of the best ever goalies that ever came up in most recent times. He is a coach at Watford. That's quite a random place to be. Watford's a nice place, but I wouldn't imagine him going to Watford. I probably would imagine him going to Europe or something. So what happened to his career then? He went to China, become the coach of, I can't even pronounce that side, and then from there he didn't do anything for 2 years, and then went to Watford. So let's look at his career stats. He carried on playing to Juventus until 2021-22. Amazing servant to Juventus. He was at Juventus for 21 years, and he was actually playing way back until 1992-93 season. Jeez, that's when Championship Manager 2 came out. That's how long ago it was. So he must be one of the longest records in the game. Amazing career. So he's at Watford. We're going to look at Haaland now. Haaland is currently the best player, I suppose, best striker in the game at the moment. 26 years old. He's at Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain must be doing really well. He is wanted by Man United, though. No surprise there. So what actually happened to his career then? How did he move to... He moved from Dortmund to Paris Saint-Germain in 22-23 for 93 million, and he's a regular. You would say that 93 million for him is a bargain. Look at the goals he's scoring. Amazing. Um, 71 caps, 43 goals for Norway. You expect that to go well over 100 in a couple of years' time. 123 appearances for Paris Saint-Germain with 82 goals. Really good ratios. So we'll carry on doing some players and then we'll look at countries and the World Cup. Alexander Arnold, probably one of our best right backs in England. He's still at Liverpool, 28 years old, 80 caps, 8 goals. He's had over 300 appearances for the club now, so he's still a regular. And yes, he's doing really well. So we'll go to Lukaku. Now, I'll be very surprised if Lukaku is still playing. He is, and he's actually gone to Spurs. Wow. 33 years old, actually, for nearly 30 million. So he's actually Tottenham's main striker. So how did he get to Spurs then? He got free transfer from Inter Milan. Wow. There we go. And he's actually won a cup with them as well. UEFA Super Cup winners. All right, so let's go. Finally, let's go and look at some tournaments. So the first we're going to look at is the Champions League. Current holders are Chelsea, by the way. So we go. If you look to your right of the screen now, just making sure you can see it. Okay, we'll have to move these back down again because it's actually blocking what we're trying to look. So let's move that down. There we go. You can actually see what I'm looking at now. So if we look at the history of, let's say, Liverpool, of course, were the winners in 2021, then Chelsea, and Liverpool again, and again it was Liverpool, and then Chelsea, and then Chelsea. So the English side, the English dominance has returned since the 80s. So the last 6 winners of the Champions League have been Chelsea and Liverpool. Wow. So obviously we'll look at the Europa League. So Europa League in 2021 it was Real Madrid, then it's Bayer Leverkusen in Germany, Arsenal, Borussia Dortmund, Tottenham and Arsenal. So again the English sides are dominating the cup competitions here. So the last two we're going to look at is the European Championship. I can't spell today. There we go. The European Championship 2028 is going to be held in Portugal. So what actually happened in previous tournaments? Well, in 2021, of course, it's postponed for a year because of COVID. Holland won it. In 2024, Portugal won it. So, sorry, England didn't do very well. And then finally, we're going into a little bit more detail in the World Cup because you straight away see why it's interesting. Greece are the current champions of the World Cup. Next World Cup is going to be hosted in Spain in 2030. So Greece beat Italy by a penalty shootout 1-1. In the third place playoff, Norway beat Argentina 1-0. So I'm guessing Haaland took part in that. In the semi-final, Italy beat Norway 3-1, while Greece beat Argentina in extra time 2-1. We go back to the quarterfinals. Argentina beat Croatia, Norway beat Spain, Italy beat Germany, Mali. Wow. Mali lost to Greece 2-0. Let's see how England getting on. In the third round, Brazil got knocked out by Spain in the penalty shootout. Ecuador lost to Croatia. Canada, wow, they've done amazing to get to the third round. Lost in a really 7-goal game against Argentina, while Norway beat Portugal. France lost to Greece. England, look at this. England lost to Germany in a penalty shootout. Why am I not surprised? And America lost to Mali at 5-6. Wow, in extra time. Italy beat Holland. Wow, in the third round. Italy meeting Holland in the third round. And yeah, that's it. So that was the 2026 World Cup. Let's see if we can do the 2022 World Cup. It might not let us though. No, I'm not. Probably not. But never mind. So yes, Greece are the current World Cup holders. So we look at the past winners. Here we go. So we're just looking at these two World Cups. Holland beat Portugal in 2022. Third came France and then Qatar. Oh, it was hosted in Qatar. Greece then beat Italy and Norway, three host nations in this the most recent World Cup. So finally, we're going to look at England. What's happened to England? I better see how my country of birth are doing. So how is manager of England? The manager is Ralph Hasenhüttl, Austrian. I've not really heard of him, I'm afraid. His track record. So he's the current manager at Southampton. Oh, okay. Then West Brom and then England. I guess he must be pretty good then. So let's look at the overview of England. No, not much silverware, more recent silverware. Land managers, that's what I want to look. Who have been a recent manager? So Southgate stayed until December 2022. He actually got sacked. Wow. Carlo Ancelotti then became England manager for 2 years. He then resigned. Why did he resign? Did he accept it? He became Holland's manager. That's why he resigned. Ooh. Then Sean Dyche, the Burnley manager, became England manager. And he only survived 1 year and 346 days before he got sacked. He did win one cup though. Look at that. Which was UEFA Nations. Oh, the UEFA Nations League winners. England actually won that. So where's Gareth Southgate now? I wonder. It's not actually letting me. We have to type his name instead. Southgate. Wow. He does not exist anymore. They've taken him out completely. Wow, the current England manager is not in the game anymore. So let's look how the England side. Any noticeable players in there? Harry Maguire still in the England side. He's still at Man United. Who's Carl Gilbert? A regen who plays for Liverpool. A regen player. Ooh, okay. A youth player in when the game starts becomes an England international. Curtis Jones, I know him. He's at Liverpool. 18 million. Declan Rice, who now plays for Man City. Hudson-Odoi, he's at Paris Saint-Germain. 88 million, wow. Mason Mount, Man City, he was at Chelsea, wasn't he? 75 million. Phil Foden, he's still at Man City. It's worth 73 million now. 61 appearances, 26-year-old. Oh, he's going to get close to 100, isn't he? Sancho, he's at Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain have got quite a decent squad, looks like it. 72 million. Let's quickly have a look at Paris Saint-Germain's squad. I'm just intrigued to see what decent players they've got. De Bruyne, Sancho, Haaland. Wow, Mbappe. This is a really good team. Really good team. So just for fun, we're going to go to scouting. I'll avoid this. This is all Orkney, of course, scouting. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Value. Who's the most valued player on my database? It's actually Mbappe. Mbappe at 92 million, but the second player is this guy called Ansu Fati. 24 years old, so 2020-21 he'd be at Barcelona or possibly Man United now. He's worth 89 million. He is a Spanish attacking midfield left. So it's a good player to look out for, by the way. Then Vinicius Jr., Brazilian, at Paris Saint-Germain, 26 years old, attack midfield left. Oh, same as position left. Okay, so who else have we got? Any other players? There's Hudson-Odoi, so that's a top English player. And then we've got this guy here, Yusuf Demir. He is from Austria. Okay. 23 years old, so definitely a regen. and he plays attacking midfield right, and it's Paris Saint-Germain. So Paris Saint-Germain are doing really well here. But anyway, that was interesting. That was an interesting look into the future and see who plays where. I hope you have enjoyed this. Stay tuned to in the next video, which will be the Season 8 signings here at Orkney FC. And thanks for tuning in. Hope you like this. If you want me to do this again, then please let me know, and we'll maybe do another one and say another 5 years time, see where some of these players are, see if anyone is still in the system, and we'll see what happens. So thanks for tuning in, and goodbye.